Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Simon Scott Assembly Hall for the press conferences in front of the second round game of the 2024 NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championships. Just a reminder that the open locker room portion for Indiana will run simultaneously with today's press conferences from 2:15 to 2:45 p.m. If you're joining us in the room, please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation before asking your question. And if you're on Zoom, use the raise your hand function and we'll get to you near the end of the press conference. On the dais, we are joined by senior Chloe Moore-McNeil and senior Sydney Parrish. Ladies, welcome back, and we'll take questions from the room. Front row in front.
Hey guys, Talia Goodman with the Next. I guess I saw a bunch of you watching the game last night. What do you think is the biggest thing that you've learned about Oklahoma, just from what you've learned so far?
Yeah, 60% of their shots come from within the first 10 seconds of their transition. So we know we've got to get back, whether it's a make or a miss, and lock in on our transition D.
Yeah, they have two tremendous post players who can also play on the outside. So, we have to have high hands for their shooters and, make a presence on the inside.
We'll go second row in the middle.
Nick Jenkinson, South Central Indiana News Network. Chloe, for you yesterday, Coach keeps talking about how you're very vocal, and especially, obviously, in that first half when Fairfield was making runs and, that you definitely were speaking up. How have you learned from just the fact that you're now able to be such a vocal leader from your time here?
Yeah, just coming from an understanding of what this team needs. We have great leaders, Sydney Parrish and Mackenzie Holmes, and I think the combination of us using our voices, whether it's in practice or in games and timeouts, is really essential to this team.
We'll go first row right in front.
Kevin Verrett inside the hall. For either of you guys, with the month of March, it's naturally just game after game. There's a quick turnaround. Is there anything that you guys do specifically as players to sort of take in the information and just kind of get ready for the team on a short notice?
Sydney, why don't you take that first?
Yeah, our coaching staff does a really good job of keeping us in the gym and watching film as much as we can. And, right after our game yesterday, we were, after we showered and got ready, we were right out there trying to watch every possession and take as much information in as we can. It's going to help us prepare for the next game. And recovery is a big deal for us too, just trying to get our bodies right in such a short notice of time.
Chloe, anything to add?
Yeah, Sid hit it right on the head, just, taking a lot of mental reps when it's in film. We understand we don't have a lot of time like we're used to on the court, so it's being mentally prepared and taking advantage of recovery and treatment.
We'll go front row.
For both of you guys, Mackenzie yesterday during the game was, emotional on and off the court. You could see her on the bench kind of screaming some things, making some motions. She said that you guys play a lot better when you're emotional. What was it like kind of watching her from that perspective in her emotions?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it gets us hyped when we see our teammates excited, whether it's her or even Sarah. I think she came out of her shell a little bit yesterday. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Sarah just is really competitive, and so it's really fun to see. And I don't think we saw it a lot last year on the court, but we always saw it last year and this year in practice. So Coach tried to challenge her this year to kind of bring it out from practice to the game, and we've been seeing that this year. So it's been a lot of fun to see.
We'll go front row on your left.
Ostermander, IU Sports Radio Network. On Sarah, what's it like when she's playing like that? Do you just kind of get the ball to her and get out of the way?
Yeah, it's when Sarah's in her zone, she's in her zone. When other people, I'd say when the other team starts kind of talking to her, getting in her head, I don't think there's any getting out of it. So we kind of get the ball to her, and once she hits one of those step back threes, it's kind of end game.
Chloe, anything to add?
No.
We'll go second row right in the middle.
Yesterday and today, the Oklahoma players have talked about how this is going to be a tough environment for them. And, of course, playing in the Big 12 at places like Texas, Iowa State, Kansas State, they're getting ready to prepare for it. So how cool is it for you guys now knowing that you've got the big home crowd prepared tomorrow to get ready to go against Oklahoma?
Yeah, obviously to host, it's a big advantage that not every team is fortunate enough to have. And we're blessed to have that, and we realize our fans have willed us through wins a lot of games. So.
Sydney, anything to add?
Just we're really, really grateful that we do get to play in an environment like this. And we've played in environments like this also at away games. You know, at Iowa, that's a tough place to play. Same with like Nebraska. So we've been in those situations as well. And it's not easy to win at other places that are packed with 17,000 fans. So hopefully Hoosier Nation shows out tomorrow and, you know, gets us through the game. And hopefully we can celebrate after.
Ladies, Greg Campbell with IUHoosiers.com. I'll ask kind of maybe an obvious question, but last year you were in the same position. Most of this team was in the same position. What do you take from last year to this year to get you over the top?
You know, we try not to think much about last year, but I think it's always in the back of our mind. This is a new team, a new season. We have a lot of returners, but still we can't compare ourselves to the team we were last year. But like I said, it's still going to be in the back of our mind. We still have that chip on our shoulder, and we never want to feel like we did after our loss last year. And, you know, keep the main thing, and it's just survive in advance, get to the next game. So that's what we're focused on.
Chloe, anything to add?
Yeah, I agree with Sid 100%. Just having that chip on our shoulder and realizing we're not the same team that we were last year.
Chloe, I know you had the assignment on Janelle Brown most of the game yesterday. What were the adjustments at halftime that allowed you guys to have more success against her?
I think really just the only adjustments was to her speed. You know, she's a really quick guard that likes to get downhill a lot, so kind of just retreating when I could realize that she's trying to get to the rim.
Do we have any other questions for the student athletes in the room? Last call for questions on Zoom. All right, ladies, thank you for joining us and have a great